I'm going to show you guys a ton of horror movie novelizations. One or maybe two or three of these books are... Probably two or three of these books are not really horror, but we're going to show them anyways. This was a request by my buddy Andrew. He wanted to see my horror movie novelizations, and I will say I've only read one, maybe like 1.5 of these, alright? I'm probably going to read a few of these in the next couple months. Novelizations do interest me because I am curious to see any differences. A lot of these were written from maybe like not a final draft, but maybe like a next to final draft or an earlier draft of the story. So I'm sure there are some differences here, and there's a ton more that I do want to pick up, but these books used to be a dime a dozen, and flippers kind of ruined the prices. I will let you guys know I paid no more than $1 to $5 for each of these, except for one book. Sometimes I myself do fall for the flipper prices, even though I complain about it. So I did spend $15 on this first one. Everything else, I promise you, no more than $1, $2 to $5, okay? We're starting with Fade to Black. I love that cover, and on the back, it's got some pictures from the movie. I dig this movie, and but I've never read the book, or the novelization. One day I will. Next, we've got Dead and Buried. I'm sorry that I really don't have too much to say about the novelizations, but I do dig this movie. I did only see it once, like, I want to say like 5 years ago, but I did dig the movie, and I dug it enough to get this novelization. And I do remember, like, how the movie ends and all, but I'd be curious to read this novelization, then watch the movie, because I pretty much forgot, like, everything except the ending, which is such a gnarly ending. If you haven't seen Dead and Buried, like, go ahead and watch it. But this one is probably one that I would say is, like, at the top of my list from everything I'm going to show you guys that I definitely do want to read eventually. Next, we've got Gremlins. I don't remember where I got this one, honestly. It might have been from, like, a lot on eBay or something. Oh, somebody used a little... Whoever owned this before me, you could tell I've never flipped through this. They left, like, a blank index card in there as a bookmark. They didn't get past... they finished Chapter 7, and they did not start Chapter 8, apparently. Okay. I was just flipping through it because I wanted to show you guys. It does have some still images from the movie, so that's cool. You never know what you're going to find in an old book. I've read some threads on Reddit and in Facebook groups where people talk about weird things they found in books. I think the only weird thing, if you really call it weird, that I found was, like, I forgot what book it was in. It was definitely in a horror novel, but somebody had, like, an article that they cut out and put in the back of it of like, a murder. I don't know. It's somewhere. I could probably find it for you guys. But, yeah, Gremlins 2... The new batch. Nobody left anything interesting in this one. I was really hoping that, like, because we found a bookmark in that one. I was like, maybe there's something in this one. I did a video recently where we also found a little newspaper clipping in the back of The Exorcist. And then we've got Poltergeist, which I'm not really a fan of this movie. I've seen it a couple times. I haven't seen it probably in like 7 years. I'm somewhat open to giving it another chance. I just don't think I'm a Poltergeist guy. I just, I don't know, I just did not like it. It would actually be pretty funny, though, if, like, the book is, like, an actual, like, banger and the movie is not. Next, this is the one I read. I read Dressed to Kill. And I must say that the differences were, they were tiny, but very impactful. Like, if the movie had kept those differences in, it would have sucked. I think this was probably, if I had to guess, like, adapted from the, like, second to final draft. But I'll be honest with you guys, I won't just stand here and lie. I really don't remember all the differences and what they were. I remember I did a video about it on my old channel. Maybe I could dig that up and see. But this was the one I read, and it's under 200 pages, so it was probably a very quick read. Dressed to Kill. That's the only one I read here. And this one's not horror, but since it's Brian De Palma, the Blowout novelization. You know, believe it or not, guys, in some of these, like I've and I just talked about this in another video. Sometimes you'll see like where somebody like a kid usually wrote their name inside a book, and I don't know, like with some of these, I'm just like, what was like a little kid doing, reading The Omen? I don't know how well you guys will see it, but like some little kid like scribbled like up here in the corner, or oh no, my hand was covering it, wrong spot, like right there, like some little kid scribbled their name in there. I've actually got 4 copies of this. I'm not a hoarder, but I was finding them for $1 at Half Price Books, and I was like, why not? One of them I think I did get on eBay in a lot, but the other 3, they were like $1, and I was like, why not? And then I've got 3 copies of The Omen 2. I think the first 3 books in the Omen series, counting this one, The Final Conflict. I've actually never seen The Final Conflict, but I've seen the other 2. I think the first 3 are novelizations, and then they've got like 2 more that are their own thing. So, let's see. We have 1 more that's horror, and then we've got 1 more that's not horror, and that's Halloween Ends. Now, I did not like this trilogy of Halloween movies, but I was just very curious. I was like, well, maybe like there's actually something cool in the Halloween novelizations. So I am debating picking up the other 2 and finally reading these soon. I just did not like the way they approached the story. I just thought everything about them was dumb. I think that there were a couple moments that really made me think that they had started down like a path that could have been cool, but it might have been like a too many cooks in the kitchen kind of a thing. I remember in the second one, I've only seen each of these once, and that was like when they came out. I believe in the second one they have some flashbacks to the 70s that were well done, and then in Halloween Ends, I did like the, and I can't remember his name, like, you know, like Michael Myers' is like little sidekick guy. The sidekick guy I thought was pretty cool. And I saw a couple moments, mostly in 2 and 3. Those were both better than the first one, the 2018 one. There were a couple moments where I was like, maybe they had something here, and for whatever reasons, it just was ruined. I don't know. So I'm kind of like hoping that like maybe if I read the novelizations, like they're actually good and it's got a lot of cool stuff. I don't know. We'll see. I got to pick up the other 2. And then we've got, so this is like sort of a novelization, kind of. We've got 2001 A Space Odyssey. So Arthur C. Clarke and Stanley Kubrick collaborated on the screenplay and simultaneously kind of wrote it at the same time, going over ideas while Arthur C. Clarke wrote the book. So it's kind of like as he worked on the book, they worked on the screenplay. And I also picked this up with it. I got both of them together in a lot, and this is The Lost Worlds of 2001. So this book kind of, and I haven't read this one. I read half of 2001. This one kind of, I guess, goes over like everything that 2001 like could have been like while they were coming up with ideas, and that's very interesting to me. But the reason I did not finish 2001 is it's not a bad book by any means. I'm trying to remember where I left off. I might have got to page like 70 or 80 something, and it's not a very long book at all. It's looking like it's 221 pages. So the reason I didn't finish it is that I don't want to sound pretentious here. I know I'm gonna sound pretentious. I don't want to, but I'm gonna. So David Lynch always talks about when he writes a script, you know, what he's trying to say in words is there, it's the script. And he uses that script, you know, he turns it into the movie. And the movie is what he's trying to say. And David Lynch often talks about whenever he would do an interview, they want him to put the movie back into words. It kind of felt for me like 2001 was being put back into words when I was reading the book. I know that's going to sound it's going to sound like real pretentious, but like what watching 2001, it's its own experience. It's really cool. And then reading the book, like the book was good. It was well written, but I just sort of stopped because I was like, I don't want this kind of like put back into words for me. it was just, I don't know. It's just, I like the way I experienced 2001 just watching the movie as opposed to reading the book. But I am still like interested in reading the book, so maybe one day I'll return to it, maybe. And I also am interested in reading The Lost Worlds of 2001. So that was my novelization collection video. Some of these I do want to read. Maybe I'll get the other Halloween ones I'm missing, and then maybe we'll do a reading of those. And Dead and Buried for sure. Maybe Fade to Black, but also maybe The Omen. I don't know. Like I'm interested in reading some more of these. It's just usually when it comes time to pick a book, I got to be in a mood for like a certain book, and then I'm interested in like something I like might not know a lot about, or maybe if there is an adaptation, then it's like I kind of want to read it before watching the movie kind of thing. It's I'm not always like just in the mood to be like, well, I've seen The Omen 5 times, why don't I read the novelization now? That mood doesn't always strike me, but looking through them, I do get curious at the same time. I'm just like, I don't know, maybe I'll find some changes in there and it'll be cool. So we'll see what I end up doing, but I'll try to at least get to like maybe one of these at the very least this month. We'll see. But anyways, thank you for watching, guys.